quick 4-step process to keep you on target. Now, this is the part where I really want you to pay a lot of attention. Just because this 4-step process was laid down to me personally a long time ago. Once I started to work for the first, it was a pension fund, they gave me $1 million account. And what they asked me to do was to invest all $1 million. Prior to trading that $1 million account, the largest account I ever traded was $10,000. And after a week, I didn't have one single trade. The main reason for that was because I was scared. I wasn't 100% sure if my trades that I took till then are going to work here. I had that mental block, and what my bosses told me was to go to talk with people that are going to sort that part for me. They have an entire division of the people that are trying to help and improve every single trader on that floor. So I went there and they told me this 4-step process. So we have 4 things to remember. The step 1 would be planning and preparation, trade execution, evaluation, and the mindset. And when you master those 4 things, you are always going to be able to trade on a different level. Trust me, I improved my trading a lot. I think that on average, my win rate improved for a 20% after I start just applying these 4 steps. And in my some experience, since I'm doing this for over 8 years now, it's taking me around 5 minutes per day to make sure that I'm following these 4 steps. So I really want you to include this in your day-to-day routine. Now let's go and try to talk a little bit about each of these steps. But before we go, I want to explain to you just why this is so important. A lot of people think as a trading, just some simple activity. But in theory, trading is that high performance activity. Like if you are a football player or a rally driver or a pilot, it's going to be tough on your mind. You are going to have a lot of emotions involved while you trade. So you really need to be in the best mindset possible if you want to perform like the top traders. Step 1, planning and preparation. Always have a clear plan for the future. What does that mean? In the first step, so every morning when you wake up, I want you to have a full plan or try to prepare your plan for the coming days. I wasn't allowed to trade before I had my full plan on the table written down. I wasn't able to open any trade. Also, what you want to do while you plan, I want you to work out all possible scenarios. If you have some strong data, I want you to work that part out in your head. Like if we have a good news that would support my idea and I'm going to enter a trade. Plan every small details. We know that the hardest part is going to be to hold that emotions. But if you have that clear plan, and if you try to visual yourself doing same thing, it's going to be much, much easier. So for example, if we are using our ND10X, you can go every day and visual yourself trying to follow all the rules. And if you get a signal where everything is aligned, I want you to visual yourself how you enter a trade and do that every single day. I also want you to have a clear goal for the current day. You don't need to have the goal for a month, week, or things like that, but I want you to have a plan for today. I want you to know exactly what you are going to try to achieve in the next 24 hours. Now, once you have all the goals and ideas what you want to trade, you are going to have a much better understanding of what you really need to do for the current day. And you won't need to worry about anything that's going to happen in the market. So maybe some news will come, but if you prepare yourself correctly, it's going to be much easier. I can tell you what happened to me I think it was the NFP, and back in that days, NFP was really a strong market mover. It's still moving the market, but it's not like it was like when I started to trade, and I built an entire plan. And before the NFP, I had in my head that NFP numbers should be good because my research told me that NFP numbers should be good. And like instantly, once we got to that NFP and I see that my research was confirmed, only thing that I done was just click on that buy button and everything worked out perfectly. Important part is that you don't have any kind of the emotions that will hold you back when you need to enter that trade. That's why that part of planning and preparation is really going to be the key in trying to become the best trader as you can possibly be. Maybe at the first it's going to take a little bit of time practicing this, but I think you won't spend more than 5 to 10 minutes per day doing this step like planning and preparation. But don't worry if you take more, because the more research you do is going to be easier later on. Now, we go to the next step, and that's the trade execution. And now is the time to focus on your trades. During this step, what I want you to focus on would be to observe the market and the setups that you are looking to trade. I want you to be there. I want you to pay full attention. Just because you have a plan, you know what you want to see. So there is nothing that can surprise you in the market. Also, the part here that really matters is how you enter a trade, exit a trade. So better to say how you manage the trade overall. So our goal here would be to try to manage our emotions while we are watching for the setups, while we are looking to enter, manage our trades. Just use your plan and your research, and you are always going to be good in this field. Step 2 is the easiest to follow, but only if you follow the step 1 correctly. If you try to cheat your way, like if you don't want to do any research and you don't want to have a plan for today, it's going to be hard for you to be consistent with your trades. And that's what we are looking for here. Your job is to generate ideas and manage the trades, nothing more. So after we are done with the step 2, we need to go to the step 3, evaluation. In my view, only self-correction will improve your results. And I'm saying that just because it's the hardest thing in the world to judge yourself, because you won't be that objective when you are talking about yourself. Even if you're wrong, you're always going to say no, and you will try to blame other people instead of trying to figure out what was wrong here. So I want you to go on a daily basis and try to evaluate your trading for that day. If you are going to be real with yourself and say, okay, I done today a 4 with my entries. I done average with my exit point. I done good maybe in a research part. I want you always to be that excellent level. So always try to be that phenomenal trader. You know how people say self-reflection leads to self-correction. I want you to try to separate skill from luck. Our goal is to develop the skill that will make us a good trader. Try to find your mistakes and try not to repeat those mistakes. But if you don't find those mistakes, you're just going to continue to repeat them. Keep in mind, there are people that can't do this step alone, and I'm fine with that. If you can't do this on your own, you can always try to ask someone from your family to help you in this case. What I found to work here would be to make some sort of a contract with your, let's say, husband or wife and tell them to evaluate your trading. If they don't see you performing at good or excellent level, they are going to get a full control over your account and you are going to be locked for a few days. This way, you are going to try always to perform good, minimum, just because you know that if you're not performing at your best, that you can lose access to trading. I know this idea maybe sounds crazy, but I want you to think a little bit about that. Since for people that have a real job, you have a contract with your boss and no one really say anything about that. But when it's time to trade, people have a lot of problems signing any kind of the contracts like that. And in my view, this is really a great thing. You can even do the contract with yourself. If that's going to help you, say, if I'm not performing at my best, I'm not going to be able to trade for 7 days or 5 days, or just put something to motivate you to always perform at your best. Once you're done with this step, we're moving to the mindset. Now, this part wasn't something I really believed in at first. I really wasn't seeing any connection between how I feel and how I'm performing at work. But after I started to log my emotions while trading, I noticed that majority of my losing trades happened when I was maybe tired, or I had a fight with someone in a family or a girlfriend, or I just had a bad day. When I say try logging emotions while trading, I want you to try to write down once your trade is done. I want you to try writing something like, before a trade, I was confident, or I wasn't feeling great, or I had a good sleep. Try to put as much information as you can. So try to understand what feelings you have when you enter a trade, when you are in a trade. So when you enter a trade, after that, once we see some momentum, I want you also to have that, and once trade is over. And you'll start seeing that usually you are going to perform the best when your mind is clear. So you need to sleep. I'm the first person that don't sleep that much. But when I don't sleep for 8 hours, my trading is going to be affected by that. Try going to the gym or run, or if you don't want to exercise, at least try something like a yoga or meditation. Meditation really works great for trading, and if you want to try that, you can probably do it in the morning. Like when you wake up, spend like 30 minutes for a quick meditation session, is because you will feel much better. And if you feel great, you are going to perform much better. Now, how is this all connected? I want to go back to the first chart. If you skip the step 1 and you don't do a proper research, and you are too lazy with your entries, exit, and the way you manage a trade, you can only expect a bad results. So you are always going to perform bad, and that would create a mindset that will tell you that you're not that good, that you're not really yet there. So automatically, the next day when you come, you're not going to have some motivation to continue to work. But if you do the research and pay attention on how you manage the trades, your results will be much better. So when you start that evaluation process, it's going to be much easier to improve. And then when we come to the mindset, you're going to see that you were happy. And the next day, when you come to the office, or if you work from home, when you sit in front of your PC, doesn't really matter, you are going to have that same emotions. So because yesterday you were happy, 99% of the chance to feel the same emotions again, because every single person likes to be happy and relaxed. And you know that the only way to get that same feeling would be to repeat our 4 steps again. So again, we are going to plan and make that quality preparation, then follow the trade execution according to the plan. Try to find what we done good, what we done wrong, try to improve. And then again, we try to see if we got the same feeling. And it's always the same process, guys. What to do next? Trading is nothing more than a high performance activity. So following our simple 4-step process is going to push you to be on the same level as the top successful traders. It's going to take up to a week for most to get to know how this works entirely. However, we want to build a habit of following our process, so keep following the same steps day by day. Every week, I encourage you to make a short checklist of how you feel now about trading. I can guarantee that after we finish this masterclass, you are going to feel much better about yourself and your trading.